House Foreign Affairs Committee member Michael McCaul. And Congressman, it's great to have you this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
No, thanks for having me, Maria. Appreciate it.
You know, Congressman, I asked Gene Scalia about this just a couple of days ago. Last week, we had him on the show, and this issue has been bothering me now for over a year because I just couldn't get my head around a 401k plan, retirement money for our military, men and women, past and present, that they were putting 10% of that into the MSCI index, and that MSCI index is home to so many Chinese companies, many of which are building equipment for the Chinese military, which at some point, Congressman, may be used against us.
That's exactly right. I wrote an op-ed on this very issue last November before COVID really hit the fan about how the federal retirement system is heavily invested, in stocks in China that are tied to the Chinese Communist Party, part of their national military industrial complex. I think the president's making the right call here to pull out all the federal employees' retirement savings that are invested in what's becoming now our biggest foreign nation adversary.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible that was the plan, knowing the behavior of China. And I guess one issue is around civil-military fusion, right, Congressman? Because when you and Jonathan Ward first came on this program and on Sunday Morning Futures from the Atlas organization and explained what civil-military fusion is, but it's very simple. Any innovation, anything brought into the Chinese economy, to the Chinese Communist Party, must first be brought to the military because that's their priority, right? So that they can become the number one military power.
Well, that's right. It's not a democracy like this country. They have no freedom, liberties. The Chinese Communist Party controls everything within the state. So every innovation, every technology, every military innovation belongs to the state, and that's basically as simple as that. And so that's why, again, last November I called for divestment out of these Chinese companies that we know are at the behest of the Chinese Communist Party that has really brought, again, I call it the worst cover-up in human history, brought us one of the worst biological bombs. Nothing we've seen like this since the 1918 Spanish flu. And so, as chairman of this new China task force, I'm going to be taking this issue head-on as the origins of this virus, what happened, what can we do to stop it, and then how can we decouple ourselves from the Chinese Communist Party. Now, and let's talk about supply chains, right? Let's talk about our military posture. Let's talk about how they are involved in espionage in our academia and how they have stolen so much intellectual property from the United States. I say it's really time to bring these manufacturing jobs as well, like semiconductor, back here to the United States.
This is all exactly right. These are all very important issues. I'm glad that you're running this task force. Let me ask you about the supply chain, because I think this issue and the last couple of years and President Trump changing the conversation around China, frankly, has opened up American people's eyes to the fact that we cannot rely on 70% of our active ingredients in our prescription drugs. I'm talking about ibuprofen and penicillin and antibiotics, 70% of the active ingredients made in China. What are you going to do to incentivize companies to bring that supply chain back to America? I mean, you got to believe that there has to be some incentive here, right? So are you going to do tax cuts? Are you going to do tax incentives? What is it going to be that you feel that you actually could move the needle on that supply chain coming back to America?
Well, Maria, you're right. I think the one takeaway, the big eye-opener for the American people is that we're so heavily reliant on the Chinese Communist Party for our medicines, for the protective equipment, for our medical supplies, and our technology like semiconductor chips. So I think we do have to incentivize our private sector through tax incentives to bring these supply chains out of China in more favorable countries, democracies in Asia, but also bring them back here to the United States. My district, Maria, right down the street, I've got Samsung and Apple. Why aren't we manufacturing these semiconductor chips here in the United States, right here at home?
Do you want that to be part of a stimulus package, another relief package, package 4? I know Nancy Pelosi's working on this at home, and she hasn't come back yet, and there is some worry that it's all her ideas and there was no voice from the members, and she's just going to call for an up and down vote. But Kevin McCarthy told me that he wanted to see the supply chain in the next stimulus package. Is that going to happen?
I think it'd be fantastic. We're pushing for that. Obviously, Speaker Pelosi doesn't always listen to us, and that's we're not in the majority, but this is an issue that we think, and honestly, Maria, this should be a bipartisan issue. This is about bringing manufacturing jobs back home for the American worker. And so I think every American, when I look at this whole issue of China, it polls very high. Most Americans care about it, whether they're Republican or Democrat. And I think it should be a bipartisan exercise in phase 4. If we want to help the working man and woman out, bring more manufacturing jobs back to the United States, then we ought to, as we're spending all this money, for God's sakes, we ought to be investing in manufacturing here in the United States and getting off the reliance of China, which is a national security threat to the United States.
Yeah, by the way, we're going to need it with this economy shut down because it's the services sector that has been slammed, right? Restaurants, hotels, etc. You're going to need to get manufacturing here to get that part of the economy churning again. Congressman, it's good to see you. We'll be watching your developments and your efforts, certainly, in the coming weeks. Michael McCaul, thank you, sir. We will see you soon.